Alright, so we're going to head into the final chapter of this assignment, and then we're going to get into what your assignment actually is for this, so as you're going to begin to fill them all out. So, the essential question, what I want you to think about throughout this is what made the night so long. So remember what just happened previously. Peter had come by and told Anne-Marie that she was going to be responsible for looking after her friend Ellen, as they're Jewish and the soldiers are beginning to close down all of the Jewish shops. So it's beginning to hamper the Jewish way of life. So now I want you to keep that in mind while we are going through this. So again, what made the night so long? So what do you think is going to happen? It will be a long night. Chapter 4. Alone in the apartment, while Mama was out shopping with Kirsty, Anne-Marie and Ellen were sprawled down on the living room floor playing with paper dolls. They had cut out the dolls from Mama's magazines, old ones she had shaved from years past. The paper ladies had old-fashioned hairstyles and clothes, and the girls had given them names from Mama's very favorite book. Mama had told Anne-Marie and Ellen the entire story of Gone with the Wind, and the girls thought it was much more interesting and romantic than the King and Queen tales that Kirsty loved so much. "Come, Melanie," Anne-Marie said, walking her doll across the edge of the rug. "Let's dress for the ball." "All right, Scarlet, I'm coming," Ellen replied in her sophisticated voice. She was a talented performer. She often played the leading roles in school dramatics. Games of the imagination were always fun when Ellen played. The door opened and Kirsty stomped in, her face tear-stained and glowering. Mama followed her at an exasperated look in the package down the table. "I won't," Kirsty sputtered. "I won't ever wear them. Not if you chain me in a prison and beat me with sticks." Anne-Marie giggled and looked questioningly at her mother. Miss Johansson sighed. "I bought Kirsty some shoes," she explained. "She's outgrown her old ones." "Goodness, Kirsty, I wish my mother would get me some new shoes. I love new things, and it's so hard to find them in stores." "Not if you go to the fish store," Kirsty bellowed. "But most mothers wouldn't make their daughters wear ugly fish shoes." "Kirsten," Mama said soothingly, "you know it wasn't a fish store, and we were lucky to find shoes at all." Kirsty sniffled. "Show them," she commanded. "Show Anne-Marie how ugly they are." Mama opened the package and took out the pair of the little girl's shoes. She held them up, and Kirsty looked away in disgust. "You know there's no leather anymore," Mama explained, "but they found a way to make shoes out of fish skin. I don't think they are too ugly." Anne-Marie and Ellen looked at the fish skin shoes. Anne-Marie took one in her hand and examined it. It was odd looking. The fish scales were definitely visible, but it was a shoe, and Kirsty needed shoes. "It's not so bad, Kirsty," she said, lying a little. Ellen turned the other one over in a hand. "You know, it's only the color that's ugly." "Green," Kirsty wailed. "I will never ever wear green shoes. In our apartment, my father has a jar of black ink. Would you like these shoes better if they were black?" Kirsty frowned. "Maybe I would," she finally said. "Well then," Ellen told her, "tonight, if your mama doesn't mind, I'll take the shoes home and ask my father to make them black for you, with his ink." Mama laughed. "I think that would be a fine improvement." "What do you think, Kirsty?" Kirsty pondered. "Could he make them shiny?" "I want them to be shiny." Ellen nodded. "I think he could. I think they'll be quite pretty, black and shiny." Kirsty nodded. "All right then," she said. "But you mustn't tell anyone that they're fish. I don't want anyone to know." She took her new shoes, holding them disdainfully, and put them on the chair. Then she looked with interest at the paper dolls. "Can I play too? Can I have a doll?" She squatted beside Anne-Marie and Ellen on the floor. "Look at these shoes." Sometimes Anne-Marie thought Kirsty was such a pest, always butting in, but the apartment was small. There was no other place for Kirsty to play, and if they told her to go away, Mama would scold. "Here," Anne-Marie said, and handed her sister the cutout of the little girl doll. "We're playing Gone with the Wind. Melanie and Scarlet are going to the ball. You can be Bonnie. She's Scarlet's daughter." Kirsty danced her doll up and down happily. "I'm going to the ball," she announced. Ellen giggled. "A little girl wouldn't go to a ball. Let's make them go someplace else. Let's make them go to Tivoli." "Tivoli?" Anne-Marie began to laugh. "That's in Copenhagen. Gone with the Wind is in America. Tivoli, Tivoli, Tivoli," little Kirsty sang, twirling her doll in a circle. "It doesn't matter, because it's only a game anyway," Ellen pointed out. "Tivoli can be over there by that chair. Come, Scarlet," she said, using her doll voice. "We shall go to Tivoli and dance the fireworks, and maybe there will be some handsome men there. Bring your silly daughter, Bonnie, and she can ride the carousel." Anne-Marie grinned and walked her Scarlet toward the chair. Ellen had designated Tivoli. She loved Tivoli Gardens in her heart of Copenhagen. Her parents had taken her there often when she was a little girl. She remembered the music and the brightly colored lights, the carousel, the ice cream, especially the magnificent fireworks in the evenings, the huge color splashes of bursts of light into the evening sky. "I remember the fireworks best of all," she commented to Ellen. "Me too," Kirsty said. "I remember the fireworks." "Silly," Anne-Marie scoffed. "You never saw the fireworks. Tivoli Gardens was closed now. The German occupation forces had burned down parts of it, perhaps as a way of punishing the fun-loving Danes for their light-hearted pleasures." Kirsty drew herself up. "I did, too. It was my birthday. I woke up at night. I could hear the booms, and there were lights in the skies. Mama said it was fireworks for my birthday." Then Anne-Marie remembered. Kirsty's birthday was late in August, and that night was only a month before. She, too, had been awakened and frightened by the sound of explosions. Kirsty was right. The sky was in the southeast set ablaze, and Mama had comforted her by calling it her birthday celebration. Imagine such fireworks for a little girl 5 years old, Mama had said, sitting on her bed, holding her. This is what the Tivoli Gardens would look like, but this is actually in Disney World. Not actually what it looks like. The dark curtain aside to look through the windows of the lightened sky. The next evening, newspapers had told the truth. The Danes had destroyed their own naval fleet, blowing up the vessels one by one as the Germans approached to take over the ships for them to use. "How sad the king must be," Anne-Marie had heard her mom say to Papa when they read the news. "How proud," he replied. It had made Anne-Marie feel sad and proud, too. Picture the tall, aging king, perhaps with tears in his blue eyes, as he looked at the remaining of his small navy, which was now lay submerged, broken in the harbor. "I don't want to play any more, Ellen," she said suddenly, and put her paper doll on the table. "I have to go home anyway," Ellen said. "I have to help Mama with the new house cleaning. Thursday is our New Year. Did you know that?" "Why is it yours?" said Kirsty. "Isn't it our New Year, too?" "No, it's a Jewish New Year. That's just for us. But if you want, Kirsty, you can come that night and watch Mama light candles." Anne-Marie and Kirsty had often been invited to watch Miss Rosen light the Sabbath candles on Friday evenings. She covered her head with a cloth and special prayers in Hebrew as she did. Anne-Marie stood there very quietly, awed to watch. Even Kirsty, usually was such a chatterbox, was always still there at the time. They didn't understand the words or the meanings, but they could feel what special time it was for the Rosens. "Yes," Kirsty agreed happily. "I'll come over and watch your Mama light the candles. I'll wear my new black shoes." But this time was different. Leaving for school on Thursday with her sister, Anne-Marie saw the Rosens walking to the synagogue early in the morning, dressed in their black best clothes. She waved to Ellen, who waved happily back. Luckily, Ellen said to Anne-Marie, "She doesn't have to go to school today." "But she probably has to sit very, very still, like we do in church," Kirsty put out. "That's no fun." That afternoon, Miss arose and knocked on the door, but didn't come inside. Instead, she spoke for a long time in a hurried, tense voice with Anne-Marie's mother. When Mama returned, her face was worried, but her voice very cheerful. "Girls, we have a surprise tonight. Ellen is coming to stay overnight and to be our guest for a few days. It isn't often we have a visitor." Kirsty clapped her hands in delight. "But Mama, it's their New Year. They were going to have a celebration at home. Ellen told me your mother managed to get a chicken someplace and she was going to roast it. Their first roast chicken in a year or more." "Their plans have changed," Mama said briskly. "Mr. and Miss Rosen have gone called away to visit some relatives, so Ellen will stay with us. Now, let's get busy and put the clean sheets on your bed. Kirsty, you may sleep with Mama and Papa tonight, and we'll let the big girls giggle together to themselves." Kirsty pouted, and it was clear she was about to argue. "Mama will tell you a special story tonight." "One just for you." "About a king?" Kirsty asked dubiously. "About a king, if you wish," Mama replied. "All right, then. There must be a queen, too," Kirsty said. Though Miss Rosen had sent her chicken to the Johansons, and Mamma had a lovely dinner large enough for the second helpings all around, it was not an evening of laughter or talk at all. Ellen was silent at dinner. She looked frightened. Mamma and Papa tried to speak cheerful things, but it was clear that they were worried too, and it made Amory worry. Only Kirsty was unaware of the quiet tension in the room, swinging her feet with the newly black and shiny shoes as she chattered and giggled during dinner. "Early bedtime tonight, little one," Mamma answered after the dishes were washed. "We need extra time for the long story I promised about the king and queen." She disappeared with Kirsty into the bedroom. "What's happening?" Amory asked when she and Ellen were alone with Papa in the living room. "Something's wrong. What is it?" Papa's face was troubled. "I wish that I could protect you children from this knowledge," he said. "Ellen, you already know, but now we must tell Anne-Marie." He turned to her and stroked her hair with his gentle hand. "This morning at the synagogue, the rabbi had told his concentration that the Nazis have taken the synagogue's list of all the Jews, where they live, what their names are, and of course, the Rosens were on that list, along with many others." "Why? Why do they want their names?" "They plan to arrest all Danish Jews. They plan to take them away, and we have been told that they might come tonight." "I don't understand. Take them where?" My father shook his head. "We don't know where, and we don't really know why. They call them relocation. We don't know even what that means. We only know that it is wrong and dangerous. We must help." Amory was stunned. She looked at Ellen and saw her best friend was crying silently. "Where are Ellen's parents? We must help them too. We couldn't take all three of them. If the Germans were to search our apartment, it would be clear that the Rosens were here. One person we can hide, not three. So Peter has helped Ellen's parents to go somewhere else. We don't know where. Ellen doesn't know either, but they are safe." Ellen sobbed aloud and put her face in her hands. Papa put his arms around her. "They are safe, Ellen. I promise you that. You'll see them again quite soon. Can you try hard to believe my promise?" Ellen hesitated, nodded, and wiped her eyes from her hand. "But Papa," Ellen said, looking around their small apartment, with its few pieces of furniture, the fat sofa and the charms, and the small bookcase on the wall. "You said that we were going to hide her. How can we do that? Where can she hide?" "That part is easy. It will be as your mamma said. You two will sleep together in your bed, and you may giggle and talk all secrets you can. And if anyone comes," Ellen interrupted. "Who might come? Will it be the soldiers, like the ones on the corners?" Amber remembered how terrified Ellen looked that one day when she had questioned it. "I really don't think anyone will, but if it never hurts to be prepared. If anyone should come, even the soldiers, you two will be sisters. You're together so much it would be easy for you to pretend that you two are sisters." He rose and walked to the window, and he pulled the lace curtain and looked into the street. Outside it was beginning to grow dark. Soon they would have to draw the black curtains that all the dames had on their window. The entire city had to be completely darkened at night. In a nearby tree a bird was singing. Otherwise it was quiet. It was the last night of September. "Go on now. Get into your nightgowns. It will be a long night." Anne-Marie and Ellen got to their feet. Papa suddenly crossed the room and put his arms around them both. He kissed the top of each of their heads. Anne-Marie's blonde one, which reached his shoulders, and Ellen's dark hair, with their thick curls, braided as long as they do. "Don't be frightened," he said to them softly. "Once I had $3. Tonight I am proud to have 3 daughters again."